Hello everyone, and it's Graham from Lakeside, and I've been waiting for this to come back from DCC Supplies. It's the Class 68 68005 Defiant. I sent it off to them just prior to Christmas for a replacement body shell and a replacement buffer beam. Now, when I bought this originally from Rails in February last year, the body shell was obviously not correct. It was the first batch where they had the wrong livery, well, the right livery, but it was offset to one side, as you all know. But I wasn't too bothered about that, to be honest with you. But what I was bothered about was the fact that it had a broken buffer on the buffer beam at the front. I contacted Fiona, and she said there was a problem because obviously it had just been released and they hadn't got any replacement parts yet from Dapol. So I said, that's fine, no worries. But she put me on a waiting list for when they came in, and she said it'd probably be 3 to 6 months. So it was quite a long wait. And the months rolled on. And to be fair, she did contact me now and again just to say, I'm sorry, but they still haven't come in. Please be patient. They will eventually come in. And so it went on and went on. And then just prior to Christmas, I phoned her up again. I said, what really is the score on these buffer beams? And she said, well, they have got some in stock, but whether it was the correct one or not, she wasn't quite sure. So I said, well, I want to get this in for repair before my warranty runs out, which she agreed to. She said, yep, absolutely. She said, at least push it in, then we've got it so that it is in repair before the warranty. She said, we have got the new body shells in, so she could do that, no problem. So I duly sent it off about a week prior to Christmas. Now, that was at about the same time as Susannah over at Ringwood South. She put up a video with exactly the same problem, but her video was primarily, how should we say, she was a little bit disgruntled, to say the least, about the service she had from DCC Supplies. So after hearing that, I was a little bit perturbed because my loco was already on its way to them. So I again phoned up DCC Supplies and said, have you received it? I sent it first class signed for, so they should have got it the next day. I didn't hear anything from them, so when I phoned up a few days later, she said, I'll have a look into it, and she emailed me back and said they couldn't find it. So obviously my heart started racing, and I thought, oh God, where's it got lost? And I looked on the tracking, and it actually had been signed for the following day from posting. So I contacted them again and spoke to Fiona, and she emailed me back again and said, yes, they have found it, and it's actually in the workshop ready for the repair. So I had a restful Christmas. At least I knew that it was with them. And then it went a little bit quiet after Christmas, so I phoned again, and she said that it was still in the workshop, but she would chase it and find out what the score was, and to give me a kind of an estimate of when it would be fixed. And she came back almost immediately and said it would be about a week's time, and sure enough, I had a email from the workshop from Richard saying that he was looking at it and that he would contact me, which he did. He duly phoned me up and said he was looking at the locomotive now, and there was no problem with the body shell. He could do that. The only problem was the buffer beam. Now, I had included the old buffer beam because in the process of last year, Fiona sent me a buffer beam which wasn't the correct one. It was for the silver version of the Class 68. But I said no worries, because I'd rather have that than nothing, because I can take the buffer off of that and one of the plates, step plates, and glue that on, if you like. Which I did, but it wasn't very successful, to be honest. So when I sent this back to DCC Supplies, I included the previous old buffer beam as well, just in case they had to make up a spare part from it or something. So I was trying to cover every which way for myself to give them a good opportunity to repair it to how it should be. So anyway, Richard phoned me and said it's on its way, and this was on Thursday. It's on its way, it's all done and all repaired, buffer beam done and the body shell. I said, excellent, thank you very much. And could you just let me know how much the cost would be? And he wrote back and said, no charge, it's all under warranty, except for postage. Absolutely brilliant. Now it cost me, I think it was either £11 or £13, something like that, to send. But they charged me £4 for the postage, which was next day delivery signed for. So a very, very good result there. So up to now, at this point, it all seems to be going very, very good from DCC Supplies. Postage of £4. I have a parts list here in front of me. I've taken the label off just so that that doesn't show my full postal address. But that's the only thing I've done. It's completely unopened, and I wanted to open this on camera so that if there was anything untowards on this when opening it, I've got proof of evidence, really. Because after my last escapade with the Backman buildings, if you remember, and plus Susannah's problems with DCC Supplies, I thought this was probably the best route to go. So this is really what this video is all about. Opening it up, having a look at it. Hopefully it's going to be absolutely fine. And then what I will do, I will pop back in my speaker and sound decoder, because I sent this back with a standard DC blinking plug in it. So I will pop those back in once I'm happy with the repair of this. Now, according to the parts list I've got in here, it says Dapol WC warranty brackets W1C. I haven't got a clue what that is, but then it does say a buffer set pair plus sleeves, a long pipe yellow, a long pipe red in pairs, buffer step silver, so that sounds good news, 4 of them, and a buffer beam. So it sounds from this parts list that they've actually replaced and glued, by the looks of it, the separate parts onto the buffer beam. The only thing I can see is that on the Class 68 buffer beam it says 68008, not 5. Now, when speaking to Richard, he did mention that in that he didn't have any 05 buffer beams, only 08s, but he would have a look and see what he can do about that. What that is, I don't know. Maybe he renumbered it, maybe it's just left as 08. But I should think it's so small that I doubt if anybody's going to notice apart from me, to be honest, and probably you lot now because I've told you. But to me, that's a minor detail. I'm just after a nicely fixed Class 68, and if it is an 08 on the buffer beam, I can change that anyway if it hasn't been done so already. So, without further ado, let's open it up and see what it's like. So, what's the best way of opening this? Like this, I should think. shaking it like that, I cannot hear anything rattling, which is a good sound. On the floor. No, can't hear anything. I have included all the warranty and the invoice from them from the previous times, and that's all there. Right, let's clear that. And so we're left with the normal packaging. Oh, that was my tummy, I don't know if you heard that. And it looks, looking through the plastic, as if it's all okay. So let's just check the livery. Yep, so there's a new body shed on there as well. Well, actually, they've also included some. Where's the camera? 2 nameplates, which I didn't have in there before. So, where's the camera gone? There. So that's good. Plus a few spare parts which were in there. Plus the old parts as well, interestingly. An old buffer. Right, let's get this out of the box and see. Well, it was the front buffer beam which was the problem. And the step plates are both on there. Plus, yeah, plus the vacuum pipes as well. In there. Now initially, it looks absolutely fine. I can't see anything wrong with that whatsoever. Which is brilliant news. That's good. I'm pleased about that. So there's nothing broken. The rear buffers are working fine. The bogies are turning, no problem. So yeah, all in all, it looks excellent. Good. Okay, well that's a relief. Yep, so I think what I will do now, having seen that the repairs have been done successfully, I'm pleased about the step plates being on, because that was a worry. And the buffer beams are both the right colour. The snow ploughs have been fitted back on. Good. So what I will do now is to, with these handy tools, is take it apart. Because what I need to do is take the body shell off very carefully, obviously, and fit the loudspeaker and the sound decoder. And the way I did this before was that I soldered the cables from the speaker to the circuit board rather than using the dedicated cables from the decoder to the speaker. I may change that when looking at it. I got a feeling that these cables were not long enough to reach the terminals on here. So I think that's probably, I can't remember now to be honest, but I think that's why I ended up soldering the cables onto the circuit board speaker connections. But I'll have a look at that when I open this up. And if they are long enough, then I should probably take those cables off of here, take them off of here, and solder the decoder cables directly onto the speaker. But I'll have a look at that once I get to inside the body. So what I will do, I will shut the camera down and install the speaker and decoder. I will also just put the one sound on, which will be the main sound for this, through the Z21, and register that and see what it's like. So I will be back shortly. Okay, so bye for now. Hi again. Right, okay, so I've got the decoder and the loudspeaker back in and the body shell back on. I did actually take those little cables off the decoder and solder the loudspeaker directly to the decoder itself, which actually worked out better. It's much neater to install. So I checked before putting the body shell on. I checked that it ran okay before putting any sounds in, and all I've done, to be honest with you, is put the lights on and the basic sound. That's all I've done. I need to go and find the instructions for the CVs from Lego Man Biff, so I can put the other relevant sounds in. But now that I have put those in, it doesn't run backwards. I checked before putting it, and it ran backwards and forwards, absolutely no problem. Now if I put any throttle on it, it doesn't. So I think what's happened is that there is a brake on this, and I think it's the brake is on, so that it's not actually going backwards and forwards when I put the throttle on. But I shall find that all out when I start putting the CVs back in for the different things. So as far as the video is concerned, the whole point, as I say, was to find out if I was going to have the same issues as Susannah had, and the issues I had with the Bachmann buildings. And all I can say is, from my experience, is that DCC Supplies have done their job, and to their normal, I wouldn't say normal, to their way of working, whereby they sent me the emails of the progression. The only downside is, and this is not the fault of DCC Supplies is that it's taken nearly a year to get to this stage. That's down to primarily Dapol not supplying DCC Supplies with the spares, like the buffer beam assembly. So that's not really the fault of DCC Supplies. And then once this was in for repair, it went all according to plan. I guess I've waited probably about 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks since it went in for repairs, but I knew that anyway because of the Christmas period. That's 2 weeks taken out. Plus, I don't expect them to work on this as soon as I've sent it to them. There's obviously a queue in front of me which you have to wait for. So all in all, I'm very pleased. There's nothing broken. There was nothing rattling around inside the box when I opened it. DCC Supplies service was, as far as I'm concerned, excellent, with no issues. So really, I've had a good experience this time with a supplier which I haven't had from Hornby or Bachmann. Dapol really is the equivalent of those because they are the manufacturers. I guess they should have got a few things right first before issuing this. But as regards DCC Supplies, then no, I don't have any issues. In fact, I think they've done a very good job as far as I'm concerned. I'm just sorry that Susannah didn't have the same experience as what I had done. But having said that, it could well be that because Susannah made that video and the chairman got involved, then maybe it has shaken up DCC Supplies as regards their repairs and their service. I don't know. I'm only assuming. But yeah, it's gone very successfully, and all I've got to do now is to put in the remainder of these functions from the decoder. So what I have got are lights, which you probably can't see from here, but yes, they are working front and rear, and the sound is purely the sound. I haven't got any other functions, just the sound. So there you go. Now, normally if the brake was off, then obviously this would be moving up and down the track. But as you can tell, the brake is on. So what I need to do is go into the functions and find out what number that is and switch it on or off as the case may be. So as regards the Z21, absolutely fantastic so far. I've managed to now code in 20 steamers, and I've probably got about another at least 10 to do. Then I can start on the diesels and the diesel electrics, etc. But I'm going to do all the steamers first and get those out of the way. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steamers on the table over there, which I've just done, and so there's probably another 10 at least to do, which is, I guess, about 30 odd steamers which will be in on the Z21. I say then I've got all the diesels to do, which I think is probably about another 40-50 to do, so still a long way to go on those yet. Okay people, that's about it for now. I just say I wanted to get this video done just as a thank you really to Susannah for posting her video up in the first place, because I was anxious, because it coincided with me sending mine off. I was anxious about getting this back, but it all seems good. New body shell, new buffer beam with all the pipe work, etc., with a £4 charge for the postage back to me, which was first class, signed for. They sent it off yesterday and I received it back today, which is Saturday. So all in all, a good experience. Okay people, that's about it for now, and thank you very much for watching. So bye for now. Bye.